What's up guys, it's Ed from TechSource and welcome to October's PC builds. This time we have two different price points. One is a super budget $350 gaming PC and the other one is a mid-range $1,050 or $1,060 gaming PC as well. As always, any parts that I mentioned in this video will be linked below, but let's go ahead and jump right into this. Actually guys, before I begin the video, I want to give a huge thanks to Jay's 2 cents for sending out his RX 480 last month to help out with a Crossfire build I did on the channel. If you are not already subscribed to him, be sure to go over and check him out because he makes some of the best water-cooled PCs on YouTube and does an amazing job on explaining how things work. His videos are very educational and I've learned a lot from him, and I'm sure you guys will too. But I'll drop a link down to his channel, so make sure to go and subscribe if you haven't already. So starting off the month, we have a very cheap gaming PC that will cost you only $350. Please keep in mind that this build is only for people that don't plan on upgrading and need something within the next few months, as AMD Zen is coming out in the near future with new CPUs and DDR4 support. So if you do decide to upgrade, you will need to buy a completely new motherboard, CPU, and RAM. But if you guys don't care about upgrading in the future and only have $350 in your pocket and want to run games between 30 to 60 FPS, then this is the PC for you. For the CPU, we are going with the one and only X4 860K, which is a solid quad-core processor, clocked at 3.7 GHz, which is sufficient for gaming. We are not going with a CPU cooler to keep the cost down, so instead we are going to use a stock heatsink and pair that with the ASRock FM2 motherboard, which is a solid board for the money that also offers onboard USB 3.0. The motherboard is also built with 100% solid capacitors, so don't expect this to crap out in the near future. For RAM, we are going with Team Vulcan this time around simply because of the value. 1600 MHz rated RAM sticks for only $34 is a pretty good deal to pass up. For storage, we are starting off with just 500 GB of hard drive space from Seagate, which can obviously be upgraded later on. And for the graphics card, we are using the new Sapphire RX 460. I did do some research and it turns out there is very slight bottlenecking with the 860K, however it is very marginal and shouldn't affect gameplay at all. We are packing everything inside the Fractal Design Core 1000 case because it only costs $25 and it comes with front panel USB 3.0, which is very rare to find for that price point. And finally, juicing up the entire system is the ever so popular 430 watt power supply from EVGA, simply because it's one of the best power supplies for budget builds that costs around $30. No other brand comes close. Once again, the total is $350, so if you need a gaming PC now and don't care about upgrading in the future, then this is the PC you want if you want to play games between 30 to 60 FPS. Now let's take a look at a very solid $1,000 mid-range gaming PC. Actually, this will cost you around $1,060, but has plenty of room for upgrades in the near future. Starting off with a solid quad-core CPU, the 6600K clocked at 3.5 GHz will bring you happiness. But it doesn't end there. We are going to be overclocking the CPU to at least 4.0 GHz, hence why we picked up the extremely popular and amazing 212 EVO CPU cooler. We obviously need a solid Z board that will not break the bank, and after shuffling through a bunch of them on Amazon, I ended up with the ASRock Z170M motherboard. For around $100, you get a very sturdy motherboard with a bunch of features. It has 12K platinum capacitors, a very sexy looking I/O armor with a matte black PCB and orange accents. If you're going to be pushing your CPU to its maximum, this board will get the job done. Sticking with the color scheme, I went with two HyperX Fury black RAM sticks rated at 2133 MHz. Since the motherboard supports M.2, I decided to throw in a 128GB M.2 SSD from Transcend, which will hold the operating system along with a few programs that need super fast boot times. I also added a 1TB hard drive from Seagate, and of course there is always room to add more storage in the future. For the graphics card, I went with the Gigabyte G1 Gaming, not because the orange accents match with the motherboard, but because the benchmarks were very impressive compared to other GTX 1070s that I reviewed on the channel. Not to mention how beast the card is after overclocking. Storing all of these parts is the Fantex Eclipse P400 tower because it's only $65 and has a very clean design with a large clear side panel. Finally, powering the build is a 700 watt power supply from EVGA, and the reason why I went with 700 watts is for expandability. This configuration is perfect for anyone that wants to add an extra GTX 1070 in the future or even upgrade to a more powerful processor. But that will do it for this month's PC build. As always, if you guys enjoy these videos, be sure to hit that like button as it does help me out a ton. And also make sure you're subscribed to the channel because you don't want to miss out on my next few PC builds coming out in the next few weeks. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.